I wasn't really using this as much as I should have when I was a consultant, but when I became an entrepreneur and started up my own business, I realized that was probably the single biggest thing that could drive me to get more work done. Gone are the days of the Ford style management techniques, the scientific management techniques, and all other sort of management techniques that have been cultivated over the last 50 or so years. Especially in the growing market today, where people don't really want to work for companies that just value time, or bums on seats, as we used to call it, and don't value the skills and the output that the employees have to bring. So if you want to be a manager that people will look up to, that people will work hard for, and that people will want to go above and beyond for, then you need to start leading by example. One of the easiest ways to do that is to use your time effectively. And you can train your team on doing the same thing. I see this time and time again. When I was in the corporate world, I was a management consultant. We used to go to many different projects and many different clients working in their offices, and you would see that valuable output, effective working was not as valuable as staying late, staying up to 7 p.m. It was almost like a race to the bottom of who can work the longest. So if you're in a company like that, then you might be promoting toxic culture by being part of that. And if you're a manager, you should definitely look into changing your ways of measurement and KPIs so that your employees can feel better valued. And they can bring their expertise and upskill themselves to deliver their work in a much faster way just because you value output and effectiveness over time. So that brings me to the next question is, well, Ash, how do you maximize your time? And if you haven't watched my other videos about how to plan for the year ahead or how to make the most out of every day, I'll link those in the description below, check those out. But today we're going to be talking about my favorite method is the Pomodoro method. I wasn't really using this as much as I should have when I was a consultant, but when I became an entrepreneur and started up my own business, I realized that was probably the single biggest thing that could drive me to get more work done in a single sitting than anything else. When you have to dictate what you need to do for yourself and there's no one else to kind of really tell you what to do, it's really hard to figure out what to do. So the Pomodoro method helped me to focus on just one task at a time and being able to complete it. So if you haven't heard of the Pomodoro method before, here's what it is you give yourself 2 hours of work slot to get stuff done in, but it's broken down into 4 segments. And those effectively alternate between working and resting. So first, before anything, you start with prioritizing what it is that you want to get done during this time. Once you've chosen that, you set a 25-minute block of time, 25-minute timer on, and you just focus on that one singular task. You cut off all the distractions, take away your phone, turn it off or put it on silent, put your notifications off on your laptop for emails. Nothing else comes around. For those 25 minutes, you have blocked it to just focus on this one task. Once the 25 minutes is up, then you reset the timer for 5 minutes this time, and this is purely rest time. Here's a top tip for you if you're going to use this method. A lot of times when people say it's rest, they kind of stretch and then immediately start going on their phone. But studies have shown that actually when you're looking at your phone, your brain is still active because you're still processing the information that's happening on your phone, replying to texts, reading articles, watching posts. Those things actually take up brain power and use the energy resources that you've got. So to truly rest, the recommendation is to just get out of your seat, maybe take a walk, go speak to other people if you're working in the office, but disengage from any kind of energy draining activities. And that's going to really help you to reinvigorate the energy that you need for the next block. And effectively, you repeat the same cycle. So you put the 25-minute timer again and you go solidly focus on working. Once that's done, rest, repeat that whole segment of 25 minutes and 5 minutes until 4 repetitions are done altogether. And that should get you to the 2-hour mark. And once your 2 hours are done, it's crazy because you're focusing on individual tasks for each of the 25-minute blocks. Within that 2-hour segment, you will have gotten so much more done than if you spent a whole 8 hours trying to do multiple different things. This method really breaks down the fallacy of multitasking. See, what I've found is as an entrepreneur, you have multiple different things on your plate at all times. So if you're a manager in a firm or if you are a founder of a scale-up, then you know that you are constantly being dragged in multiple different directions all the time. And your brain is trying to process all of them at the same time, and your to-do list never seems to ever go down. By implementing the Pomodoro method, I found that I can much more quickly tick off the individual things on my to-do list. It takes much less time to actually go through all of the things that I need to do, and my plan for the week becomes much easier to make. And the fact that I can even plan for the week is a big plus. I've imparted the same knowledge to some of the clients that I've worked with, and they've implemented it. They want to put it into their team so that they can get their team to be as productive as possible as well. And I'd encourage you, if you have a team under you, get them to do this method. You will start to see the difference in the output that they put out just by changing the way they focus. And that way, it really won't matter if they're working up to 8 p.m. or 12 p.m. or 5 p.m. or whatever you want them to work to. The fact is, you'll be able to measure on output, and you'll be able to see that massive amount of value upfront. And if you're a leader and you implement this, you will be able to lead by example because you're being effective with your time as well. So everybody else sees that you are doing whatever it is that you need to do, and they are also inspired to do the same. So I hope you felt this was useful. If you like this sort of content, make sure to subscribe down below to boss up your life and your career. And if you haven't already, make sure to like this video if you like it, and even share it with a friend. It might help other people. And while you're here, make sure to check out these two videos because you will love those. Anyways, my name is Ash, and I will catch you in the next one.